President Obama has gone from proclaiming the healing of our nation in his first inaugural to trying to explain the failed implementation of his signature health care law this week. Is the president just bored with the job? I'm PJTV's Scott Ott, joined now by Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, and this is part two of our three-part trifecta on executive ennui. In part one, we asked why the nation seems bored with the president. This time, why the president is bored. And in our members-only part three, we'll ask how Mr. Obama could invigorate the final 2 years of his term. Well, men, Valerie Jarrett, the president's right-hand man, once said this of her boss: "He's been bored to death his whole life. He's just too talented to do what ordinary people do." Well, Bill Whittle, President Obama often seems to lose interest in his goals just after he gets what he wants. Is there anything in the president's background that explains this ADD-like behavior?
Yeah, except Valerie Jarrett's quote's not exactly correct. I don't know if there's any way to get that back up there again. What she really meant to say was something just slightly different. What she meant to say, he's been bored to death his whole life. He's just had other people do for him what ordinary people do. That's what she meant to say. Because if he were too talented, to do what ordinary people do, then we would have, as his tenure as the editor of the Harvard Law Review, we'd have reams of deep insight into the nature of law that would be publishable, and we'd be reading them, and generations to come would behold the wisdom of the smartest man ever to sit in the White House. And if he really was too talented, his entire life, he's just so much smarter than everybody else. Then his academic transcripts, rather than being sealed under lock and key with armed guards with leveled M16s to make sure no one gets them, be broadcast to the entire world as more evidence of his magnificence, of his intellect. If he really was as smart as he said he was, he might have gone online and tested his website himself before he embarrassed himself, his country, the nation, and every single member of his party with this ridiculous, ragtag, giant, catastrophic clown rodeo. But maybe he's so smart that he realizes he's pulled off the greatest con in history, and now it's time to get on the big jet with the 4 engines and get back out on the golf course. Maybe that's how smart he actually is.
Well, Stephen Green, this week the president, who wanted to reverse the rise of the oceans, you'll recall, was reduced to explaining like a mid-level corporate IT manager why the new website rollout had some glitches. A woman actually fainted during his speech, which the president said is what happens when he talks too long. Do you think even the president realizes he's boring?
Well, first of all, comrade, glitches was last week's word. The new speak for this week is kinks. The website has kinks. Next week, who knows what it will be, but pay attention and stay current. Be compliant with the law, comrade. Well, I think the most revealing Obama quote came from when he was a junior senator, or just elected junior senator from the broke state of Illinois. He gave that red state, blue state, one America speech. And afterwards, he told, I think it was the Chicago Tribune, he said, "I'm LeBron, baby. I can play at this level. I got some game."
Exactly.
Well, you know what? LeBron doesn't give speeches. LeBron goes out there and he plays some of the best basketball that has ever been played in the history of the sport. Obama goes out, gives a speech, and thinks he's done something. He gives 50 speeches for health care, so he figures health care is fixed, and then the damn thing doesn't work, and he's caught with his pants down. He does not understand the difference between speechifying and accomplishing, and that's why this country has been in this fix for the last 5 years.
And just real quick, if you look at that video, that woman is America. That's how America feels right now. That's how we feel with this whole ObamaCare rollout. Oh God, what? You're doing what?
Whoa.
No, don't worry. I'll hold you up. Don't worry. You'll get over it. You'll soon recover. Somebody get this country to a doctor, but not one of our doctors, because our doctors are unattainable.
Ours have gone to Canada.
Well, you know, President Obama is like a salesman who pitches the product, But after he closes the sale, the delivery is someone else's problem, and so is tech support. You know, the president seems to suffer a kind of job-related narcolepsy, dozing off just when actual executive responsibilities arise. He thinks we hired him not to show up and lead the organization, but to be the embodiment of intangible ideals. Listen, even God, the omniscient, is not bored with his creation nor with his people, despite having an IQ that's arguably a few points higher than Barack Obama's. For Bill and Steve and the entire Trifecta crew at pjtv.com, I'm Scott Ott.